Hey arcade fans, on this episode we're going to show you how to fix a dead arcade game, so stay tuned. So here's the deal. I bought a non-working arcade game. It was originally an Atari ZVS, and sometime in its life it was converted to a multicade, which is fine for this example because it runs on a JAMA harness. And I'm confident that we can get this game working in real time. This game has not been opened up yet. I have no idea what the problem is, and we're going to fix this game together. So let me get my tripod set up here and we can get this video started. Alright, so we need to take the back door off of the game. So let me grab a screwdriver. Alright. Alright. I know this is kind of a simple thing, but I want to point this out, guys. If you ever see a back door with a lock on it and it looks like it needs a key, this one here is missing the lock. But if it does have a lock and it looks like it needs a key, you might want to check and make sure the back door is not screwed shut. Most of the time the lock has been taken off or disabled and the door is screwed shut. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Alright guys, so let me get in here and we'll take a look at what we got here. Remember guys, we're doing this together. We're going to fix this game in real time. And I want to teach you how to do the same thing. So let's say you bought a game on Craigslist and it's a dead game. It's not working. So the beauty of buying a game that's not working is you're going to save a ton of money. And I'm going to show you right here today how to fix your non-working Craigslist purchase. Alright. So as we can see, a couple things I want to point out. All arcade games are comprised of three main components. You have a power supply or a power brick down here. In this case, you can see the old Atari power brick over here to the right. But in the case of this arcade game, they're running the switching power supply here through a JAMA harness up to the PCB board on the side of the cabinet there. Up to, this one has an LCD monitor. I don't know if you can see that up there, guys. There's an LCD monitor that's mounted up there. So in a normal arcade you would have a CRT monitor, but in this case we have an LCD monitor. So again, we have the switching power supply in the bottom, which is right there. Then we have our PCB board right here with a JAMA harness, and then we have our LCD monitor on the top side here. So let's get started here, guys. I don't know what the problem with this game was. It was non-working. Let's plug this thing in, I guess. We can start there. You know what? Before we plug it in, though, let me just take a look at what we have going on down here. Okay, so this is the power supply. Looks like it goes up to the monitor. We've got a power source going into the maybe a marquee light. We've got our speaker wiring here. We've got our trackball connection. I don't know if you guys can see all of that, what I'm talking about here. Let's pan up a little bit. So let's go ahead and plug this thing in. It's dead anyway, so we can't cause any further harm to it. Alright, so here we go. Alright. So I plugged the game in. Let's walk around to the front side here and see if we got anything. So we have a marquee light on at the top. We've got a light over here on the control panel that's on also. And that's it. The screen is dead. There's no lights on the PCB board that we can see. And there's no light on down here on the power supply. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to try to get down in here with the camera. There's a light right there on the power supply that you would normally see light up red. So we know right out of the gate that this power supply is not getting power. So let's confirm that, guys, with our meter. Let me go grab my meter and let me get a better shot here with the camera so we can get get this thing where you guys can see what I'm doing here. A very important tool to have if you're going to fix arcade games is a multimeter. I have this one I bought on eBay. It's not the best one. It's not a Fluke, but it's a this is a Mastech. It's not a bad meter. It is an auto ranging meter, which isn't a bad feature to have. Auto ranging is not going to be as accurate as a manual range. This meter here, you can set it either way. So we're going to check, first of all, we want to check our AC voltage. So we're going to go ahead and, I don't know if you can see that, we're on our AC voltage setting here. And we're going to go ahead and tap into our AC voltage here. Alright, let me get down here with you guys. See if we can get a good view here where you can see the meter. Alright, so let's see here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Alright. So you have a black and a red lead on your meter. Black is going to be your negative. Red is going to be your positive. You know what, guys? I'm going to take this power supply. I'm going to lift this power supply up so we can actually see it a little better. So hang on one second. And actually, while I do that, I'm going to shut this power off. Okay. And I'm actually going to unplug it too. If your game has an on-off switch and you shut it off, it's always a good measure to go ahead and unplug the game too, because that way you're sure to not have any power. Alright, so I'm going to take this screw out of here. I think I need a bigger screwdriver here, guys. So we're going to lift this meter up, or this power supply up, I should say, so we can see what we got going on here. Alright, let's see. Can you guys see that? Alright, so what we got here, let me just zoom up on this power supply so you can kind of see what I'm going to describe here to you. Just move it over just a little bit here. Okay, so I want to point out a couple things here. So you have your AC voltage coming in. You have basically a hot, and you have a common, and you have a ground. So you have a white, a black, and then a green is your field ground. Above that, you're going to have your other voltages. You have a 12 volt, I believe the first one on this power supply is, yeah, this one's a 12 volt here. And then you've got a minus, is that a -5, I believe, on the next one? Yeah, -5. Then you've got a ground, and then your +5. In most cases, you're going to use the +5 and the ground. Some games for the sound they use a 12 volt or a 12 volt for the coin door lights and stuff like that. But in this case here, we've got a +5 and a ground. The -5 is not used, and the +12 is hooked up. Not sure if that, I think that's for the sound on this board. And of course your AC voltage down there in the bottom here. So let's turn the power back on, and we're going to test our voltage. Okay, I've got the power plug back into the game. I'm going to flip the switch on. Okay, we have power to the game. The lights are on in the cabinet. So again, we're going to take our black meter lead and put it here on the AC, and the red down here. And I don't know, you guys can see that meter. So we got AC power 123, so we're good on the AC. So we have power going into our power supply. You can see it clearly on the meter, and there's no output power. The red light is out. So let's check the output side. Let's change our meter here. We'll go to DC. Okay, we'll check our DC voltage on our meter to confirm what we see here. Black on the ground, and on the +5 we have nothing. So we know that this power supply is bad, in fact. There's nothing coming on the output side. Power is going in from the AC voltage from your line, and there's no output. And also we can see our red light is out. So with that being said, guys, let me go grab a power supply. Let's turn the game back off. We'll unplug the game, and let me go grab a power supply. Let's get this power supply opened up here. I buy my power supplies from Twisted Quarter. You can also order from Hap. I just particularly like Andrew at Twisted Quarter. He's always been real nice to me. So anyways, so here's our brand new power supply. First thing we want to do, guys, let's get we got to put the little mounting bracket on there. So let me do that real quick, because we're going to need to mount this to our game. They give you the screws and the mount bracket. So let's see here. We're going to do this. Alright. Alright. What's the deal here? There it goes. Alright. So there's one screw. This is probably going to be the problem with this game, is the power supply. We're going to find out here shortly. One thing that you always want to do, and I'll tell you this here in a second once I get it hooked up, there's a little knob on the end of the power supply. You always want to turn that knob. You don't want to turn that knob, actually. You want to check your voltage before you hook your PCB up to it, to your JAMA harness, because if that knob from the factory or out of the box here is turned and the voltage is turned up too high, you can fry your PCB board. So you definitely don't want to do that. Alright, let's get this guy right here. Alright, and I'll show you that here in a second when first thing we'll do is hook up our AC power. This game will need the wiring cleaned up before it goes out, but for this video here, for the purpose of fixing this game, we're just going to get the game up and running and worry about cleaning it up later. Alright, so I got the power supply mount put in there. So let's get the camera set back up to where you guys can see what I'm going to do here. So basically we're going to swap the wires from the original and put them over to the new one here. So we're going to put these side by side. Again, make sure your game is off when you're working on it. Alright. So first of all, we're going to take our AC line. So we're going to undo the ground here. Let's see. Make sure you guys can see what I got going here. That's a little better. Okay. So we're going to take off our ground lead first. Then we're going to take off our AC lines. Okay. You guys are going to save a ton of money when you start buying non-working games on Craigslist or the auction or wherever you acquire your games from. Once you know how to fix these things, it'll be like second nature to you. So we got our AC lines unhooked. This one here, this crazy mess here, is the monitor power supply. So we'll just forget about that right now. We're worried about getting this power going directly to this power supply. So we got our neutral, or our field ground here, I should say, the green wire. So let's loosen that screw up. We'll loosen up these other two while we're in here. This is the neutral here. And then we got the other one here, the AC. Alright. So our green goes in our field ground. And then we got our other two lines here. Alright, there's that one. And we got number 3 here. Alright, so at this point we should have power going to our power supply. So let's turn the power back on. Let's move this other one out of the way for right now. Just set it out of the way. It's not going to hurt anything. All right. Now, let's see. Let's set that up so you guys can see it. So I'm going to turn the power back on, and we're going to measure our voltage going out of the power supply. Okay. So the power is back plugged in. We're going to flip the power switch on the game here. The marquee light lights up, so we know we got power. So we're going to turn our meter on here. We're going to set it for the AC voltage. We're going to double check one more time here. Let's see, we're on DC. We'll go to AC. Okay, we'll move our range over here. Alright, we're going to double check we got AC voltage. And we can see that we have AC voltage. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little green light on the power supply down here. So, right there, the green light's on. So we know we got power. So again, let's just double check here. We've got our AC voltage. Make sure our meter... Alright. And we can see on our meter that we have 122. So we got AC voltage. So now let's switch our meter over to DC voltage. So we'll hit our function button. And we're going to check our, let's see, we'll go here. Alright. We're going to check our DC output. So we'll put our red on positive for the +5, and then we'll put our black on our ground or our common there. And let's see what we have. So we're at 5.18. So 5.18 is not bad. We'll turn it down just a hair. All right. I don't have clips, so I could just have this thing on here and show you when I do it. But let's see here. It's kind of hard. Need another set of hands here, actually. So we're back. So at 5.16, so we'll turn it down just a little bit more. Kind of hard to get in there. Okay. 5.14. Let me do this here. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I like to have it about 5. There you go, 5.06. That's about where I like to have my games at. That way we get good clean power going to the game. So okay, we got our voltage set correctly on our power supply. And guys, I can't tell you enough. Before you hook your game power into the power supply, make sure you check your voltage here. If this thing was cranked all the ways up by whoever at the factory maybe have turned it, or they didn't adjust it before they boxed it, whatever the case is, if that thing was cranked all the ways up and you got that much voltage, it can go all the ways up to enough voltage here to fry your PCB board up here. So anyways, you don't want to fry your PCB board. So we're running at 5.06, which is great. So now we're going to shut our power back off. We're going to unplug the game again. And we're going to wire up the rest of this power supply. So let's get our meter out of the way. We've already checked our voltages. We're done with the meter. Turn that guy off. You can buy a great meter for 50 bucks on eBay. Even less than that probably. Alright, so next up we're going to take our +5 off. That'll be the red line. And then we're going to take our ground lead off. So let's do that. +5 and ground. We'll move that out of the way. And we'll go over here to our power supply. So the red was +5. We're going to slide the terminal on there. Oops. Alright. Loosen that up a little bit more. Alright. So +5's on there. We're going to tighten down the screw here. Okay, black, our ground wire. We're going to put him on there. tighten that guy up. Moving on down the line here with your old power supply. So we've got our -5, which is this green wire. -5 on this side right here. We're gonna, okay. -5. Alright, -5, tighten him up. Alright guys, and we've got a +12 over here. There's two +12 lines on this one. There's one that goes to the PCB board up here, the yellow line, and they ran a green line up here because this game has lighted buttons and it runs on the +12. So we're going to plug them both in. That gives us our lighted buttons. The coin door lights or any kind of lighted buttons that are on games run on the 12-volt side. And then the PCB gets the 12 volts for the sound, I believe. So let's see if we can get both of these back on here. Got to loosen that screw up a little bit more. Alright, we'll get them both on there like that. Tighten this up. Alright, so we got our new power supply hooked up. So here's our old one. And this is a Peter Chow, this old one. It's a good quality power supply, but at this point it's dead, so this will go straight in the trash. Alright, so once again, let's review what we got here. So we got our power supply from our AC voltage. This is your line in voltage. Field ground, you got your two power lines here. Then you've got a -5, you've got a +12, you've got a +5, and a ground. And again, we've pre-adjusted or preset the voltage on this power supply to about 5.06 off of testing our voltage on our meter here. Alright, so we're going to set this power supply down. I'm not going to mount it yet. Again, this game, if you can see in here, this game's got a whole mess of wiring that's going to need to be redone. And that's not going to be in this video, but we're just trying to get the game working at this point. So let's go ahead and turn this machine on. Plug it back in. We'll turn the power on and see what happens. You know what? Before we do that, I've got to actually hook up this power line over here that went to the meter, or I'm sorry, went to the monitor. This is that one. They had this power brick down here that goes to this LCD monitor. So I don't really like doing it that way, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to hook it back up. So let me just do that real quick here. I think once this game is completely done, I'm going to end up changing out that monitor. So we're going to put in, actually I don't like that, let me redo this here. Okay, so we're going to so we got our field ground, and then we got our AC here. I really don't even like doubling these up like this. I'm not sure who wired this, but definitely not the way I would have done things. So let's go ahead and tighten that guy up. And we got one more here. I gotta loosen it up just a little bit more. Alright. So there, we're putting this power back to the LCD screen here. Alright, so I'm going to set this power supply back down here. We had it. Now I'm going to plug in the game. Okay. We applied the power to the game. We turned it on. You can see this time we have the green light on the power supply again, and now we have power going to the PCB board. I don't know if you guys can see that up there, but we've got our power to the PCB board. So let's go around the front and see if we see anything on the screen. Okay, so the screen is still dead. So we know that the game, you can see we got lights on our buttons here. So we know that the monitor is not showing a picture. So I don't know what's going on with that. So let's take a look at that next here. Let's see here. All right, let me see what we got here. Here's what we're going to do. I have another monitor. This monitor might be dead. I don't know. It's going to have to be taken out of the game here. So let's go ahead and shut our game back down here. Let's turn our power off and let's do this. Let's hang on one second here. Let's turn the power down. And let's get a screen here. Okay. I'm going to unhook the VGA cable from the back of this monitor. Alright, let's get my hands in here. I'm not sure if this monitor's dead or what the case is, but we're just going to go ahead and pull this out because we want to get this game working. So let's go ahead and take this VGA cable off. My hands in there. Okay. Go ahead and unhook the power supply. And since we know this monitor is not working, I'm going to go ahead and unhook this other power supply that we've hooked in here. Okay. Again, guys, make sure your power's off. Nobody wants to get shocked. It's not fun, believe me. Been there and done that. Okay, so let's tighten these back up. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to grab another LCD monitor I have in my back room there. I have in stock. So let's do that. I'll be right back to you here, guys. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We've got our LCD here. We're going to hook a power cord up to this. We're going to test this outside of the cabinet at this point just to make sure that we get a picture. So I plugged in the power. Now we're going to take our VGA cable here. This comes from our PCB board up here on the top. It's plugged in from the PCB board on the VGA port, and we're going to hook it up to the monitor here. Now this monitor has a DVI port, so we had to get an adapter to run VGA from DVI. So that's what that little white adapter is on there. Alright, so we've got our monitor plugged in to the game board. Let's plug in the power to our monitor and our game again. Alright. So let's flip our game on here and see what happens here. Okay, so the game board's got power, the monitor's powering up, and you can see it's doing something here. Auto adjusting. Okay, so now you see our game. I don't know if you guys can see that, but our game is initializing. So let's let that load up. I'm going to go around the front side here and see what we need to get this other monitor out of this cabinet. You can see it's at 31. These multi-cade boards count up to 60 and then they start up. They initialize all the games that are on the PCB. So, alright, let's see what we got here around the front while that's loading. Looks like we're going to have to take some bolts out of here. Alright, and slide this glass out of here. Alright, yep. Alright. So that's initializing and finalizing. And there you have it. The game is up and running. We fixed this game. I do need to adjust that monitor a little bit. There's a settings here we can do. Let's go up to image control. Let's try auto adjust. See if that does it. It didn't do it. So let's do this. The auto, sometimes the auto doesn't do it. So let's go back to image control. And that'll be a horizontal adjustment because the monitor is turned on these games. So we'll hit that and we'll raise it up. Okay, you can see it going up there. There you go. That's about perfect there. Alright. We'll hit exit. Alright guys, so there you have it. We fixed the game. We diagnosed that this game had a bad power supply and also had a bad monitor. So we did pretty good. This is the same thing that you guys can do when you start buying games off Craigslist that are non-working. Remember guys, in an arcade game you got three main components. Let's review one more time. You have a power supply in the bottom, down there, which we changed ours. You have a game PCB board, which is right here, and then you have your monitor up here. So typically, I'm going to say probably in the order of monitor and power supply are going to be tied for first as a common problem. And then second or third, however you want to rate that, would be your PCB board. That's just my opinion, I guess. But anyway, so that's where we're at so far with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I want to also tell you to please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on my YouTube channel. If you got comments or you want to hear some tech advice, let me know what you're trying to fix or what you're working on, and I can help you out. Maybe shoot a video of that. And guys, I guess I'm going to put this monitor in the game, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you again, and Arcade 911 out. Game not over.